Namaste children. Today I am going to teach the third unit. From that unit I am going to teach the third session, ICT tools, smartphones and tablets too. Let us see the session objectives now. In this lesson you are going to learn about the parts of a tablet and the parts of smartphone and its functions. We are going to learn about the user gestures on your smartphone, and then you are going to learn about the important features of a smartphone. To operate your smartphone, you need to know about basic controls and functions and their uses. Mobile device layout. Let us see the basic controls of smartphone. First one is power button. This is used to start and shut down a mobile device. Next one is screen. A screen on which we perform functions by touching with our fingers. Third one is back button. You use the back button to go back to the previous screen in an application. Next one is microphone. This is present at the bottom of the mobile and we speak into the microphone when we talk to someone. Next one is menu button. This is used to show the options available in a particular app. This may not be present in all mobile devices. Next one is home button. This brings you back to the home screen from wherever you are in your mobile, whether you are on another page or using an app. Next one is earpiece. This helps you to listen to voice calls. Last one is volume button. This helps you to increase or reduce the sound of your mobile. These are the basic controls of a mobile device. Come, let us see the basic features of a mobile device. First one is Bluetooth. This is a short range wireless technology which helps you connect with other devices that are within 30 feet of where you are. Once connected, you can send messages and songs. Next one is chargeable battery. This is a portable power pack which can be recharged. It allows you to use the device anywhere. Next one is Wi-Fi. This is wireless network technology that helps you connect to the local area network. This is used to connect to the internet and work with email, social media and anything to do which requires internet. Next one is touch screen. The output display of a mobile device is a touch screen. This helps you to run apps and type anything into your mobile by simply touching different areas of the screen with your finger. Next one is camera. Smartphones and tablet have a front and a back camera to capture pictures and videos. Clock. Every mobile device has a clock which can be set according to the time in your country. Cellular network connectivity. This provides the network through which you can make calls. Global positioning system. It is a navigation system that helps you to navigate, find direction and maps to specific locations. Home screen of a mobile device. The home screen is the first screen of a mobile device. There are three main parts of the home screen. Let us see what are they. The top part of the screen is called the status bar. It displays icons to show network signal, battery life, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, 3G or 4G status, etc. Middle part. This is the main part of the screen that consists of icons / shortcuts to the applications. These can be placed anywhere you want. There can be several pages depending on the number of apps present. Next one is lower part of the mobile phone. This is the lower part of the screen which is called the dock. The apps in this area can always be seen even if we move to a different page. See, this term dock is new to you know. This is the lower part of the screen which is called the dock. This question they may ask in 1 mark. It's very important 1 mark question. So read when you are preparing for exam. Next topic is basic gestures used. Gestures are used to interact with the touch screen of your mobile device. For example, instead of clicking a mouse to open an app, you tap on the touch screen. Let us see some of the gestures now. First one is tap. Touch the screen with your finger once to click. Second one is tap and hold. This is similar to right clicking your mouse. Third one is drag. To tap, hold and move your finger across the screen. Fourth one is swipe. To slide finger to the right, left, up or down of the screen like turning a page. Next one is double tap. To tap twice quickly, this is to zoom out of something. For example, to make a word appear bigger. Next one is pinch. To bring thumb and finger together on the screen to zoom in. For example, to make a picture appear smaller. That's all children, the lesson over. So far what you learnt from this lesson? The basic controls of mobile device. What are all the basic controls of mobile device? Can you repeat after me? Power button, screen, back button, microphone, menu button, home button, earpiece and volume button. What are all the basic features you learnt today? Basic features of a mobile device. What are all the basic features of a mobile device you learned today? Bluetooth, chargeable battery, Wi-Fi, touchscreen, camera, clock, cellular network connectivity, global positioning system. What are all the basic gestures you learned today? Tap, tap and hold, drag, swipe, double tap and pinch. Children, read this and I gave exercise. Do that, children. I am going to continue the next session. The session name is Parts of a Computer and Peripherals. In this lesson, you are going to learn about the basic parts of a computer and functions of the central processing unit and what are all the difference between RAM and ROM, and you are going to learn about the ports and connections on a computer. Children, already in lower class you have studied the parts of a computer, what are all the input devices available, what are all the output devices available, what do you mean by storage devices, what is the difference between RAM and ROM, everything you learnt in lower class. Now you are going to recall that, that's all. Okay. A desktop computer has the following hardware. Keyboard is the device which is used for input of data, so it is called as input device. Central processing unit, it is the data processing unit, is the heart of the computer. Okay. Monitor is the device where we can see the output, so it is called as output device or output unit. Input devices. What do you mean by input devices? If you want to give input to your computer, you need a device. That device is called input device. Which device we are using for giving input, for giving data into the computer? We are using keyboard. From using keyboard, what are all the inputs you are giving to the computer? Either number or letter or control functions. Next one is output devices. What do you mean by output devices? You are giving input to the system, no? After giving input, what it will do, the machine will do the calculation or whatever you are giving, for that it will produce result. Okay, after doing the processing, it will give you the result. That result you have to see using a device. No, that device is known as output device. Output devices bring information from the computer to the user. If you want to calculate the percentage marks, you put input all your marks using a keyboard. The computer calculates using the formula and you see the results on a monitor screen. Monitor is the output device on which the computer displays the output information. Printer is an output device which gives you us the hard copy of the information processed by the computer. Let us see the common peripheral devices. Keyboard. It is used to provide input to the computer on what to do, which could be in the form of typed letters, numbers and symbols. Mouse. We use it to go to different parts of the screen on the monitor. Microphone. It is used to record voice on the computer and communicate. Projector. It is used to project images or video from computer on a screen. Monitor. It displays all the visual output that CPU produces after processing the output. Speakers. It plays back all the sound based output. Scanner. It is a device that scans, captures a paper image, document and converts it to digital file on computer. Printer. It helps to print out the visual output on the paper as displayed on the monitor. Let us see other peripheral devices and their functions. In large retail stores, a peripheral device commonly found is the barcode reader or barcode scanner. What is the use of this barcode reader or scanner? It is used for recording the items purchased in order to create the receipt or bill. In offices and homes, we use a peripheral device known as scanner, and it is used to convert the information on a paper document into a digital information document. Central processing unit. Central processing unit of the computer is like our brain. How does our brain work? Our eyes see a mathematical problem and sends the details to the brain. The brain thinks and gets the result while the hand writes it on paper. In a similar way, the CPU also processes information received from the keyboard and gives the output to the monitor or the printer. Just as our brain can understand arithmetic and logical information, the CPU can also solve mathematical and logical problems. There are three parts of CPU. One is control unit, another one is processing unit, third one is memory unit. Control unit acts like a receiver and a manager of a company. It receives inputs from user and controls different parts to do the operations required. Processing unit acts as an accountant of a company and performs all the mathematical and logical calculations. Memory unit acts as a storage room of a company where data is stored temporarily as well as for a long time. Understanding RAM and ROM. Let us take the example of a kitchen to understand the meaning of RAM and ROM. If you are a cook, what would you keep on the kitchen counter and what would you store away in the kitchen shelves? Well, all the things you need immediately and regularly will be on the counter, and things that you do not access often will be in the shelves. Random access memory is like the kitchen counter to a computer that is switched on, and read only memory is like the storage shelf. Flash memory is usually an external device which is a mix of both RAM and ROM. Some key differences between various storage devices are as follows. What is the expansion of RAM and ROM, children? Already you learnt in lower classes, no children? Tell the expansion of RAM and ROM one time. RAM means RAM. The expansion of RAM is random access memory. Repeat after me. RAM, random access memory. ROM means read only memory. Expansion of ROM is read only memory. Let us see the types of memory storage devices. RAM. When you are doing task on your computer, you use RAM. Temporarily stores information. Information is lost when computer is switched off. Information can be changed easily. ROM permanently stores information. Information is stored when computer is off. Information cannot be changed easily. It is mainly used when starting the computer. Flash memory can permanently store information. Information is not lost when computer is switched off. Information can be changed on easily. It is mainly used in removable storage devices like USB, and its usage is based on users' needs. Next one is motherboard. Motherboard, also referred to as a system board, is the main circuit board inside a computer. It connects input processing and output devices. Some other important parts of a computer system are storage devices, ports, and connection. Let us see one by one. Storage devices. Suppose if you want to transfer files from one computer to another one, you need smaller storage devices which you can carry easily from one place to another. These storage devices are used to store digital information. The commonly used storage devices are USB, flash drive, hard disk, CD, DVD, etc. They mainly differ in their storage capacity. You may have here of a computer with a data storage capacity of 500 MB to 2 GB. What does that mean? Data is stored in the form of bits and bytes. Bit is the smallest storage unit. 8 bits combined together form a byte, which in turn represents a character. 8 bits make a byte and 1024 bytes make a kilobytes. 1024 kilobytes make 1 megabyte, that is MB. 1024 megabyte make 1 gigabyte, that is GB. 1024 gigabytes make 1 terabyte, that is TB. Children, how do you think we connect our keyboard or mouse to the CPU? We do it with the help of wires. Where do you think the wires go in the CPU? The slots are channels into which we connect the mouse or keyboard or external hard disk wires are called ports. Thus, ports help us connect input, output and storage devices in a computer system. There are several types of ports that you can use to connect a computer to an external devices and networks. These are USB port, display port, audio ports, Ethernet port and power port. Universal Serial Bus are the USB port which connects peripheral devices such as a mouse or a keyboard or a printer to a computer using the cable. Display port, which connects the monitor or any display unit to the computer using the cable. These can be different types like video graphics array and high definition multimedia interface depending on the requirement. Audio ports. This help to connect microphones, speakers and headphones to a computer system. Ethernet port is used for connecting the system to high speed internet cable. Power port is used for connecting the computer system to the power supply. So far what we learnt from the lesson, children, the various parts of the computer and some of the input devices and output devices, what are all the peripheral devices available and what are the functions of peripheral devices, and then about central processing unit, then RAM and ROM, motherboard, storage devices, and then last what we learned, ports and connections. Okay children, read the lesson and I gave exercise for this lesson too. Here I gave the second exercise. Read it and fill it up, children. Thank you children. We'll meet in the next session.